The thing is, that's quite strange. How I'm supposed to deal with something that actually is. But if the thing weren't, also, how I'm supposed to deal with something that isn't. I guess this means trouble, or something like that. Skies wander blue and out with the starry and quiet bzzz from the flies. There must be a rotting corpse round here, isn't it? Solitude, silky solitude surrounds everything with this weird appearance of appearance. Things are, that's quite obvious, but they are also getting stranger. So, I was saying, skies wander blue around the midnight hour and the crime's impact hasn't changed anything. The cars beep their way out of town, glitching lights and fiery stars, wounding noise and blacked out brains. Panic stirs its tongue on my earlobe, I don't know, by now, which one. Intruders seem to be grasping something from the isolated town, loops of grapes and vines, and treating animals, us, like animals of them. Anyway, things tend to get confusing. The color of the rainbow and a never-ending flow of words that arouse from out of thin air as if there was something to be said about it. The tongue says, "Hey boy, want to have a little bit of a little string of fun? There's a guy hanging from the roof. I have no idea how did I got in here." Worms seem to collide with us, loopholes of belly buttons stretching themselves onto oblivion. How could I regret this motion of senseless talking that arises out of thin air, ex nihilo, and strikes right into the fried brain that melts slowly through the waves of consciousness? Someday I may have something to say to someone. Today I'm only wandering the blue night, panicking quietly over them whomever they are and wringing the good old trickery of carrying out a disguise. Someday the masks will melt and ads and NPCs will take control over the world, that great orb, which, by no means, means something different from what it is, which is weird. Anyway, I take a walk. When the face of a stranger falls into shape, I start getting nervous. He, she, it, whatever the thing is, speaks in riddles or in poems. Is there a difference?
Holy be thy, for the dead will rise among the crime scene, with the ever-witnessing moon, and crawl will the loons and the maniacs, which means you. After the thin line of a soon so soon carries out lawfully the secretion in the yards. Suck a finger, cry it, singer out loud, for a soon so soon will remain unveiled, and in front of your eyes disguises will tear themselves apart. For it has been said, we have come from thin air and a laughter will rise.
When the face of a stranger falls into shape, I start getting nervous. He, she, it, whatever the thing is, speaks in riddles or in poems. Is there a difference? Holy be thy, for the dead will rise among the crime scene, with the ever-witnessing moon, and crawl will the loons and the maniacs, which means you. After the thin line of a soon so soon carries out lawfully the secretion in the yards. Suck a finger, cry it, singer out loud, for a soon so soon will remain unveiled, and in front of your eyes disguises will tear themselves apart. For it has been said, we have come from thin air and a laughter will rise. Surely the riddler walks away with a smile in its face. I have no idea what have just been said, or even if something was said at all. That's one of the perks of being psyched out. Gardenias in the ground. The park is often filled with scum and kids and all kind of scum. There's a metalumpen masturbating his brain with mathemes and a bird crying its lungs out for some matting. Nobody even cares, and why should them? The glaze of a light through a mirroring cascade. A bulb blinks, and some kind of rainbowy spectrum appears on sight. It speaks gibberish, or maybe it translates gibberish. It says something like, "He who has rose from the grave and had a rose in his hand, whom, like a candle, stroked the last nerve out of its dozed-out neurons, and in the fog found a suture, a remaining dot of sense that kept him calm, somehow alive, while the roaring angels of eternity roam around singing the misfortunes of those who have been saved." Dear God, there's nothing like having a little chat with the dead. Have you ever wondered how does it feels to be dead? I have. And you've been dead. But that's not what I was talking about. The road only goes down by this point. That's another perk of being psyched out 24/7. Shall I rest my legs and stare at the night, the all-seeing night, with my eye and my eye? And I do not know which from neither of those. I shall walk slowly into the fever and strip myself out of the trouble of having a mind, the awareness of things being, dash, and probably get a drink and pass out in the streets. And here it comes again. It's playing its trumpet, its little trumpet, and having all kind of hallucinating experiences, visionary raptures, all sort of stuff that'd make a person freak completely out, just for it to say, after all that happens.
Silence. There's an immense silence around the tickling clock and the looping past. Therefore, it's a must, that what we have found in the so-called now be fortune-telling for what the thing must become after a little bath. Silence. There's a tear founding an empire and a satyr that may be me, whose eyes have seen the long-lasting sin. Eyes without faces, disembodied eyes, and the sorrowful multitudes that belong to those who died or has yet not been born, for they are the same. Their names are written in marble, and a marvelous lunacy has founded their intimacy, making them silent for thy. And for a couple of minutes the voices stop. The Riddler has done it again. Yet now the blues stopped. A cloudy night fills the poisoned veins with peripheral vision. There are things going on, and that's annoying. Who is the I that I'm talking to, now that I can assume that I'm alone? An eye for an eye, and all I tell lies. Have you ever carried a mission for the never-ending, never actually being? It tends infinitely to, yet it never, it cannot, by definition it cannot, reaches it. How does a symbol, let's say, infinity, let's say, eternity, becomes an order? Yes, sir. I will roam around and see that everything is still a complete mess. However, sir, can you spare some change for me to get passed out by the ingestion of large amounts of whatever I may get? Yet from a lost isle down the road, an echo comes and yards an answer.
For I have sinned, Father, in thy name, and be the holy yours negated. This same garden, years before, years again, has to come for us to blur away the night, and yet the choirs have come to sight. Leave me dead, dear O mine, I or why or die that grants me nurture in the head of those coming along the gravy road. Gray be thee, O you sweet lore, for I have sinned to God above. Quiet be them, O you dared soul, for I have graved myself in Nor. And yet the days come shortly, or the opposite, and never the kiss goodbye ends, and the sewer fills itself with rats. Oh, let me go, and don't look back, for my body has gone too far. Oh, let me see that shining light that us as sinners afraid of and blessed be thee, O I, for having born in earth, and then, while the world, that great orb, fails to grasp itself, never betrays. And blessed be thee, O you, O them, whose blossom tries to tell a story, yet the shores of words or names will tell nothing but the ineffable glory.
And for Christ's sake, I swear all this chant lasted 1 second. I don't know where it came from, really. It was spectral, nuanced by God knows what. And however, it makes some kind of sense. It says, the kiss goodbye ends, and never. Many questions. How do I know from an hallucination where do the comma lands? And when the kiss goodbye ends, is it truly the end? For I have never felt her lips, and yet the screens feels oh so real. Have this machine became aware already? This sudden realization maddens the dogs that stray wander the city, and provoked by Cerberus itself, they sing a song for the sirens there. The gleamy ocean, it's far away, and somehow we all feel it. The salty flavor of our dreams, the knotted knot of our disguises. And nude we walk the alley, maybe hoping, maybe in despair, that decay will not find us looning ourselves into loops of the same old zell of existing, the good old pain of having a concept, a determination, an identity. Geez, pal, I don't know. It all sounds so exhausting, having to think for us to sink deeper in the mud of having to deploy our knots. Who's the better fortune teller in this weird orb? If I had a penny for each word, I'd have $15. What was I thinking? God damn it. So I crawl into the bathroom and puke. The pill's taste grows innately from the throat and goes right into the sink. Think, you moron, think. Now that almost dead you were, you cannot, isn't it? Clean the horror of the "at least I tried," and sink into the gazelle of machine-wandering Eden's hardware store. Was I really dead then? I truly don't know.